Welcome to Gardening 101, the series that's going to help you start a garden this year, no excuses, and today we're talking about soil. In this lesson, we're going to talk about what to look for in the soil that you choose for your garden. We're going to talk about how to make a budget-friendly DIY potting mix, and we'll talk about some premium amendments to add to your garden soils to help your garden really thrive. So what should we be looking for when we're choosing our potting soil? Well, first, you want to know the difference between potting mix and garden soil. Often garden soil will be the less expensive option of the two, but garden soil is really only good if you are growing in ground or in raised beds. It's going to be much more dense and won't really be great for your containers unless you do a ton of amending. Now, if we're growing in containers, you want to have a potting mix that's very light in area and has a minimal amount of very large chunks like bark and things like that. So what should a potting mix include? Well, you'll want a potting mix that has things like perlite to help with drainage, coco coir, which is going to help retain moisture without getting very waterlogged, and compost, which is going to give the nutrients and the microorganisms that will help your plants thrive. So can you make your own potting mix? Absolutely. And I do it often. I actually amend most of the potting mixes that I use, and here's how I do it. All of the soil that I use in the garden starts with a potting mix, and I don't ever recommend a particular brand because I don't believe there should be a paywall to gardening. So with that being said, buy the best potting mix that you can with the money that you have. If that happens to be the Miracle-Gro from the Dollar Tree or the big box store, that's what you have. We're going to amend it. Do not let this stop you from gardening. In fact, a tip that's going to help you in the years to come is to buy the seed starting mix that goes on sale at the end of the season. You can often find really large bags for $1. Now, to this potting mix, I will add perlite, coco coir, and earthworm castings if I'm going to be using these indoors, or compost if I'm going to be using it outdoors. I will also add a slow release fertilizer, and I'll put the recipe for this potting mix here. You can go ahead and screenshot that. This is the basic DIY mix that I use for most of my containers. Now, one premium amendment that I really like to add is going to be these mycorrhizal bacteria. And I'm going to show you a before and after here of exactly what these did in a couple of weeks in my raised bed last year. So mycorrhizal fungi build a network around the roots of your plants and actually increase the surface area to allow them to uptake more nutrients, which really helps your plants thrive. And I do this for both my indoor plants and the plants that go outside. Okay, here's your action step for today. Decide whether you are going to purchase your potting soil or DIY your potting soil. If you're DIYing your potting soil, you can go ahead and start purchasing a cheap base for your garden soil and the amendments that you're going to add. If you're purchasing, it's still a good idea to add something like earthworm castings or the mycorrhiza fungi because both of those are going to help boost the production of your garden. Okay. Let me know in the comments which way you're choosing. Are you DIYing or are you purchasing? You can check out the mycorrhizal fungi in the link below, and I will see you tomorrow where we're going to talk about starting seeds versus buying starts. And we'll get a good idea of which way we should go for different types of crops.